This is Dane Wigington with Geoengineering.org, and this is the view from my backyard this winter. Winter in the conventional sense is no more, and what's now becoming the norm is increasingly extreme weather whiplash scenarios of fire and ice. During the winter season, vast regions are being flash frozen by climate engineering operations that continue to seed highly toxic chemical ice nucleating elements into cloud moisture. And we're now being told that there's, quote, a warm side to winter storms and a cold side. Really. And ice storms are now constant. Surface temperatures during these events are radically lowered, only to radically rebound once the engineered surface cool down can't be maintained anymore because there's no more available moisture. And in other regions around the world, fires are raging even in winter. And the fire you're seeing in the background of this video is a short distance from the boundary of my habitat preserve on the east side of Lake Shasta in Northern California. Climate engineering solar radiation management operations have completely altered the composition of our forests, and they're lowering forest flora moisture content, they're contaminating soils, waters, they're altering pH values, they're decimating the soil microbiome, and thus killing trees and all of the flora in the forests. A decade ago, during the fall, winter, and spring seasons, I could, by myself, manage substantial forest understory fuel burns, again, completely on my own. And during these burns, I was able to safely accomplish large-scale habitat restoration. But now everything's changed. The forest is dying and drying out at blinding speed, and flashed-outs are now the norm. After rain events, we experience flash drying of the forest, and it's killing everything. And wildfires of unprecedented size and intensity, again, have become the norm all over the world. And I ask this question: what will we face this summer? What will be the scope and scale of the forest incinerations coming this summer? Imagine flames burning this hot, literally 40 minutes after a rainfall. What's it going to be like in the summertime as the climate engineers dry us out, foliage dying, root systems dying, incendiary dust on everything? What's that going to be like when they turn Northern California into Australia again? This is the kind of preventative burn we have to do to keep that from happening. Nobody's acknowledging what's going on. They all pretend it's not happening because conditions are so unlike historical norms. When will agency officials, when will the science community acknowledge the changes that are happening in our environment, making it much more volatile? That's why Australia went up in flames. That's why so much of the world is going up in flames. Climate engineering is completely disrupting the hydrological cycle, disrupting the wind patterns, toxifying soils and waters, covering foliage with an incendiary dust. If foliage can burn this hot an hour after a rainfall, what's it going to be like in the summer? That's why firefighting agencies acknowledge how different the conditions are now, but none of them will acknowledge the elephant in the sky, the climate engineering, solar radiation management, geoengineering elephant in the sky that's so radically changing conditions. It's up to all of us to bring this issue to light while it still can make a difference. I'm asking, begging, pleading with agency officials, the climate science community, to tell the whole truth while it can still matter. Some of us are in the field trying to prepare for the burns that are going to be coming to Northern California, the North American West Coast. Time's not on our side. We need everybody to step forward and make their voice heard now while it can matter. Scorched earth, forest that won't regrow in any time frame that matters. This recent drone footage of the mountains west of Redding, California was captured by Geoengineering.org. And in the 20 years that I've lived and trekked in the mountains surrounding the North State, everything's changed. Hundreds of thousands of acres have incinerated in our local mountains alone. It's black and scorched earth, sterile and dead. The trees that haven't gone up in smoke yet are dying by the day. And while the weather makers are manufacturing winter weather in some regions, they consistently cut off the flow of precipitation from other parts of the U.S. and other parts of the world. And Northern California has consistently been one such target. And for so many years, I've tried to sound the alarm. And even before the waves of unprecedented California wildfires began to break out, that was in 2008. And since that time, Geoengineering.org has spent over 6 figures on climate engineering informational materials, printing, distribution, local and national. And I warned that record droughts and fires are coming. The climate engineering operations are the core causal factor. This is not to deny anthropogenic damage to the planet, but in the case of the fires, climate engineering is core to the entire equation. And few have even now taken the time to research the hard science behind that warning from geoengineeringwatch.org. And climate engineering is completely cutting off formerly consistent flows of precipitation into Northern California, also the U.S. Southwest, and in general, countless other regions around the world. Climate engineering is destroying the ozone layer. It's creating an electrically conductive atmosphere that produces more dry lightning. The toxic particles themselves, again, are killing our soils, they're killing our trees, and slowly they're killing us. The heavy metal and polymer nanoparticulate fallout that we inhale with every single breath we take are also incendiaries. This is a fine layer of incendiary dust that coats the forest foliage and the forest floor, and one well-placed spark, the whole forest goes up in smoke, along with every form of life that once inhabited these formerly lush forests. I captured this film footage while fires were raging near my mountaintop home in Northern California. It's an iconic portrait of the path the human race is on. Vultures in a dying forest on a dying planet. What will be left if we continue on this course? What will survive? The more extreme the incinerations become, the more aggressive the climate engineers are with their chemical ice nucleation assault. Winter, weather, mayhem. Search the Engineering Winter section on the homepage of geoengineeringwatch.org to learn more. How few seem to notice that our once deep blue skies are now so often filled with a toxic haze, and the weather makers have committed us all to a highly toxic global experiment from which there is no return. And yet, even at this late hour, if our collective efforts can expose and halt the insanity in our skies, we may yet salvage some part of the planet's remaining life support systems. Never give up. This is a fight for life on Earth. It's a fight for everything that matters, and that fight isn't over. Check the activist suggestions link on the homepage of geoengineeringwatch.org to learn more about how you can help in this all-important battle. Make your voice heard. Make every day count. Until the next installment of Into the Wild, this is Dane Wigington with geoengineeringwatch.org.